Okay, hey there. This is Emmett, or the YouTube name is Sir Kingdra, but been a long ass time since I made a video, so. But yeah, a couple of the guys on this video is mainly for the Facebook group, the Super Duty page, F2 and 350 Super Duty page on Facebook. I'm a member on there. I own a small transport business. I move a lot of cars and furniture, a little bit of scrap metal from time to time. That's what I started out doing, but been doing this for about 2 years now, and got in it commercially and registered and everything about 6-7 months ago. So legit and all that business wise. And yeah, after I posted a couple of pictures and posts and whatnot of the things that I do with my Super Duty, my Ford Super Duty and my trailer, a couple of guys a little while ago, they commented on my last post, and they asked me if I could help them out and explain what sort of credentials and what sort of stuff that they would need to get into the stuff that I do, like making some money off of your truck and your trailer. They want to know how to do it legally and legitly. So I figured, well, I posted, I'll make a video and just describe it. I figured that was the easiest thing to do, and yeah, why not? But yeah, I got some notes here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over all the basic regulations and stuff pretty in depth, and then I'll go out and I'll do my fancy editing with the video, and I'll show you guys what the actual tools and stuff I have in my truck, in my toolbox, in my truck, my trailer, my setup, and what to carry in my truck. I'll show you all that stuff, and I'll actually show you with everything that I have. But right now I'm just going to go over some basic information here because it's raining outside, but that can change. But anyways, so things I'm going to touch base on are the following. I'm going to go over the truck and trailer, rules and regulations of the Department of Transportation, otherwise known as the DOT, general safety equipment to have in the truck when you're doing this sort of thing. It's mandatory, you have to have certain safety stuff, but I'll go over all that. What type of equipment to have, what type of insurance to have, what type of registration to have, what type of tools you should have, proper licensing you should have, and how to build clients or customers, whatever you want to call them. I call them clients because, yeah, I call them clients. But anyways, made some notes here, kind of just, but anyways. Okay, so I live in Alberta, Canada. I know the rules and regulations of the DOT, or the Department of Transportation, when it comes to commercial use are quite a bit different in Canada compared to the United States. And for that matter, their provinces here in Canada, the rules and regulations of the DOT are actually different. To my knowledge, they're different from province to province. Like rules and regulations in British Columbia, I know for a fact, are different than the rules and regulations of Alberta, but I am registered only in Alberta, so I only do my business in Alberta, so I don't need to worry about that. I don't do hot shotting or anything like that. I mainly do like odd jobs and truck for hire type things, like landfill trips, car hauling, hauling machinery, furniture, you know, stuff like that. But someone buys a car and it doesn't have a safety inspection or something, they just want it brought home for them. That's where I come in. Cheaper than a tow truck, and you still make money doing it, and it's legal, so make your truck and trailer pay for itself is what I think. But anyways, so rule number 1, I guess, to know is Alberta's magical weight number. This is basically the number, the maximum weight that you cannot go over without abiding to certain rules. But anyways, this number is 11,794 kgs or kilograms. That weight That's your GVW. If your GVW, or otherwise known as your GCVW, or gross combined vehicle weight, which would be the weight of your truck, your trailer, and your load combined. If your entire gross combined vehicle weight is 11,794 kgs or greater, then your vehicle is obligated to have a mandatory yearly inspection for safety, an annual inspection, commercial inspection for safety, and you also must have a certificate of authority to run a weight that high or exceeding that weight. That's a legal document that you hold that you basically are professionally able to do a weight that high. Not everyone can just drive down the road with a weight that high. It's not safe if you're not trained for it, right? That's basically what that means. I don't know who makes the numbers, but that's what the rules are. Now, if you want to run a weight, say 11,700 kgs, you're not obligated to have that yearly inspection. It's literally only if you're 11,794 kgs or higher that you have to have that yearly inspection. And you pick your weight, you pick your GVW, otherwise known as your GCVW, through a registration company. I use AMA. There's other ones, there's like One Stop, and there's a couple other ones, and I mean, you just talk with them and you tell them, I want to get into hauling and I need to get a gross weight rating and everything for my truck or your tow vehicle. And they have a chart of all the weights, and it's a different cost per weight. The higher weight you go, the more you're going to pay annually for annual registration renewal. The weight I picked for my truck was my GVW is 7,600 kgs. Again, that is the weight of my truck, my trailer, and my maximum load combined. So in English, that's roughly 16,000 gross weight, 16,000 pounds. My truck weighs, my TARE weight, which is my empty weight or curb weight of my truck with all my tools in it and me in it and a full tank of fuel in it. My truck weighs in at 6,800 pounds or 3,100 kgs. Your TARE weight, which is just what I just said, my empty weight of my truck, and my registered GVW, which is 7,600 kgs, my maximum gross combined weight, must be eligible or readable and visible, written on both sides of the truck for commercial use. Has to have that, it's the law. If you're using your vehicle for commercial use and hauling stuff and you're making a profit doing it, you have a business built around it, you must have that written on your truck. On both sides, your GVW weight, your TARE weight, as well as your business name or business logo. Okay? So, if your company is like, I don't know, Joe's Hauling, you'd have to write Joe's Hauling. If that's the name of your business, you'd write Joe's Hauling on the side of your truck, your GVW weight, and your TARE weight. It's different in the States. There's US DOT numbers, there's MC numbers, there's authority numbers, but I'm only telling you what I know in Alberta, because I'm not 100% sure on the US laws, but same idea. It's just, each place has their own rules and regs, but anyways, that's what that is. Another thing that you have to do is not only with the registered weight, but at registries, at the same place you get your weights done, you should have what is known here as a Class 1 commercial license plate. That's a physical license plate you replace your existing plate with on your truck. So the authorities know that your truck is legal to be hauling other people's goods. A Class 1 commercial plate allows me to haul my own personal items, so if I owned an ATV or a Jeep, I can haul that, as well as if I'm hauling somebody else's Jeep or someone's fridge or somebody's couch or whatever. it allows me to haul someone else's items as well as my own legally. It's just proof that I'm legit. They know I'm not stealing it, whatever, and when you're transporting someone else's items, it's good to have proof that it belongs to somebody else, you know, like a receipt or a bill of sale or a signed waiver, something like that, you know, just keep yourself protected. But yeah, Class 1 commercial license plate. Let's see here. I guess I'll go over. I'll go to this one because we're still on the kind of the topic of the weights and stuff and registries. Here in Alberta, if your GVW weight, your registered GVW weight, is 4,500 kgs or greater, then you must report to this DOT highway scales when the amber lights on the signs of the scales are flashing. So if the amber lights are flashing on the scales, you must pull into the scale, wait your turn to weigh in, go and weigh in. If they wave you through, you go through. If they want to inspect it, they can inspect it. But even if you're empty, like if I'm just driving my truck down the highway, or I'm pulling my empty flatbed trailer behind my truck, I just pull in, I pull off to the side, I don't have to weigh in, I just drive on the other side of the scale, they see that I'm empty, it's fine. If I have a load on, I go over the scale. They just want to make sure you're not overweight. They can check your tie downs, they can check your lights, your brakes, all that stuff, your log books, all that. I'll go over log books too, don't worry. As well as that we're on the top, so that's scales. But when we're still on the topic of weights, that's where log books also come in. Pre-trip inspection and log book. Those are two separate books. You want to keep those in your truck. Basically, a pre-trip inspection is pretty self-explanatory. It just wants you to inspect your truck and your trailer before you enter transit. You know, you want to, constantly just check your signal lights, your brake lights, your marker lights, your horn, your brake. I think I already said brakes. Your breakaway cable on your trailer. Safety chains are always done up properly. Your hitch is hooked up properly. Check your tire pressure, your fluids, fuel, all stuff like that. Seat belts are all working, just stuff like that. You also need to have safety equipment, mandatory safety equipment. There's 3 things here in Alberta that you have to have. I don't know if you need more than what I'm about to say if you're over the 11,794 kg mark, but the things that I know I have to have, at my registered weight, it's 7,600. They say that you should have a fire extinguisher physically mounted in the truck or to the truck in some way. It has to be mounted. It can't just be loose flying around. A fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, just a general first aid kit, and road flares, which are those triangular fluorescent colored things, or pylons like orange cones if you break down or you need to stop and check tie downs or something. That's just to put on the highway behind your truck and so people can see you and they know that they can see you, basically. It's for liability reasons, basically. Or if a cop rolled by and he saw that you're broken down, maybe he'd stop and help you, some stuff like that. But those are the things, basically: cones or flares, first aid kit, and fire extinguisher. 3 easy things. Just have them in your truck. Okay, so that covers mandatory safety items. I'm going to go over equipment that you should, or you're probably going to need anyways, that you should have in your truck or your trailer, depending on what type of trailer you have, in your toolbox, whatever, something to keep them all in. Okay, you want to carry cargo straps, cargo chains, binders, and boomers. You want to carry stuff like sockets, wrenches, hammers, tools like that, jacks in case you break down, you have to raise your trailer up to change a tire or your truck. Jacks, blocks of wood are always good to put underneath your trailer jack. Wheel chocks are always good. Stuff like that. Another safety thing you should also have in your truck is a fluorescent colored coat or vest when you're getting out on the side of the highway or road, so people can see you. If you have to fix a tie down or something, or scrape something off your windshield, just have an orange coat in your truck. I always keep one in my truck. But yeah, what else? But yes, as well as the straps and chains by law are supposed to have the actual weight rating of that cargo strap, the safe rating weight of that strap or chain has to be written, like factory written on that strap. Most of the straps that I use are rated at 3,333 pounds brake capacity, so that strap can handle that much weight before it is overloaded. So yeah, it has to be eligibly written on it, because if the DOTs want to inspect them, then they want you to follow the rules. The chain should also have like the grade of steel that the chain is, the grade that the hooks on the chains are, stuff like that, like the weight capacity of the chain. But yeah, that's straps and chains for loads and stuff like that. Let's see here. Insurance and registration. You want to have commercial insurance on your truck. That's something you just want to have. Yeah, you gotta have it. I mean, if your insurance company sees that you're using your truck for using as business purposes, they can call you up and they can rag at you and make a big deal about it, and they'll give you a hard time. And so can the police. Matter of fact, it's just, if you're gonna do this for a living and do it for a business, do it right. Register your truck, insure it properly, have the proper cargo insurance if you're hauling other people's items. So if something falls off your trailer, something you damage someone's property, and you get T-boned and the item on your vehicle that you're hauling gets damaged, you don't have to pay for it. That's what your insurance is for. So have the cargo insurance and the commercial insurance to cover yourself and the other person's items. Do it right. Let's see here. For that matter, your insurance company actually will ask you questions like, do you have safety equipment in your truck? And they may not insure you if you don't carry those. I know when I filled mine out, they actually asked me if I had the safety equipment. I said, yes, I do. I have this, 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 and this. And they said, great. They checked it all off in the list, and it was good. But I guess obviously, this is probably something I should have read right off the bat. If you're going to get into this business, obviously you're going to need a truck, or just a truck really. A truck and probably a trailer. I mean, if you want to do bigger hauls, I'd recommend a trailer. Your choice what kind of trailer. I mean, dump trailer, flatbed trailer, enclosed trailer, big utility trailer, anything like that'll work. If you're moving livestock, horse trailer, livestock trailer, gooseneck, fifth wheel, bumper pull, just up to you really. Depends on what type of hookup you want to do and what type of hauls you're going to do. I mean, any trailer's fine really. It's just get practice with it. And I would recommend, if you're pulling a gooseneck or a fifth wheel, if you're pulling it with a short box truck, I would honestly recommend they make what's called a sidewinder for a fifth wheel. If you're pulling a fifth wheel camping trailer for somebody that doesn't belong to you, you're just pulling their trailer for them. I'd recommend using what they call a sidewinder, which is an extension on the kingpin box of the fifth wheel, which gives it more maneuverability so you don't make contact with your truck. Or a sliding fifth wheel hitch to slide it into the maneuvering position. I have a long box truck, so I don't really need to worry about that when pulling a fifth wheel or a gooseneck for making contact. I can jackknife it pretty good with a long box. But yeah, truck or trailer, I'd recommend at least a 3/4 ton. At least, I mean, just it's general know-how. It's just you got a higher suspension rating. Tougher frame, tougher axles, tougher drivetrain. It's just, common practice. 3/4 ton to, I wrote here, I recommend a 3/4 ton to a 2 ton if you're doing it with a single axle pickup truck, you know, like, and that could be anything from an F250, that's a 3/4 ton, to a F550, that's a 2 ton. So I would recommend anything between there. Anything bigger than that, I mean, you're getting into something more serious like hot shodding, you know. If you're into serious hot shodding, I mean, a 550 would still do you just fine. But 450, 350, they're all fine. But, you can put things in like airbags or overload springs or stuff like that to stiffen your suspension a bit, give it that extra ride quality. It's just safer, the DOTs like to see it, you'll appreciate it driving it. And it's just, on a whole, it's easier on your equipment and it will save you money in the future just by investing in stuff like that, airbags or overload springs for your truck. Okay, so that's that. You basically open a new policy with your insurance to have commercial insurance. You sit down with your broker, you tell them what you want to use your truck for, they'll open a new policy. It will cost you a bit more money a month, but it's an investment. Alright, when you get into business, it's an investment. You make your money back. Slow. It starts out slow, but once you get going at it, I mean, it does pay for itself. It's with any business, that's with anything, not just this. But it'll cost you more a month, but, you know, you keep busy with it and you build a good client basis, which I'll also touch base on. You'll start making money. Like, if you're good at what you do and you have a passion for what you do, you'll do alright. You want to have a proper weighted hitch, okay? I'd recommend a class 4 or a class 5 hitch receiver if you're like your bumper pull hitch. The actual receiver itself, they're good for, I believe a class 4 is good for 10,000 pounds, class 5 I think is 16,000, something like that, 16 or 18,000. And then you can also use what they call a weight distribution hitch or an equalizer hitch. And a lot of people use those on their camping trailers, their holiday trailers. It pushes the weight back, like if this is your truck and this is your trailer. The hitch weight of your trailer is going to push down your truck. With an equalizer hitch, it makes it more even and pushes the weight back to the trailer axles. So your ride quality is a lot smoother and it's less stress on your truck, so it's not riding bowed and sagged like that. It's nice and even. I've seen people use them on dump trailers and flatbed trailers. They work really good on those because, I mean, if you have like a 3,500 pound dump trailer with 7,000 pounds of dirt in it, that's a hard, compact material. That's a lot of weight on your truck. I mean, yeah, you'll pull it fine. It's just your truck is going to be probably riding like this a little bit. When if you have airbags or something or a weight distribution hitch, you'll ride nice and even, be nice smooth. You'll stop easier. You can back it up easier, you can turn, like it makes it easier for everything. It's easier on your equipment, it's easier on you, it looks safer, because it is safer. But yeah. So yeah, know what the weight rating of your hitch and your coupler on your trailer is, alright? I'd recommend for any trailer, if you're going to use a trailer for hauling goods, I'd recommend at least a 2 5/16 ball. Not a 2-inch, use a 2 5/16 coupler and ball on your hitch. Goosenecks are all the same. As far as I'm aware, a gooseneck is all the same if you're using gooseneck. A gooseneck is always a 2 5/16 in the truck bed. And kingpins are all the same size for a fifth wheel. But for a receiver hitch, like a ball hitch, for a bumper pull, I'd recommend at least a 2 5/16, as well as a 2 5/16 if you're using a pintle hitch, like what I use. I use a pintle hitch. And I'll show you that outside with my truck too. But yeah, a 2 5/16 has much greater weight capacity than a 2-inch. I think a 2-inch ball only has a 5,000 or 6,000 weight trailer capacity, and 2 5/16 I think is like something crazy, like 15 or 16,000 pounds. Like, it's ridiculously stronger. Like, for that extra 5/16 of an inch in diameter, it's amazing. But that's what I'd recommend, because you can get dinged for that too. It's just not safe. Always have your chains crisscrossed if you're pulling a bumper pull trailer or a pintle hitch trailer, and do your safety chains up on a gooseneck. But yeah. And your breakaway cable and your 7-way and stuff like that, that's, plug that in and, Okay, what else? Make sure your lug nuts are always torqued on your truck and your trailer to the proper capacity whenever you take them off. Get them, just retorque them. You want to have DOT approved headlights, fog lights, tail lights, and trailer lights. If the light and the bulb package that you buy say DOT approved, it's DOT approved. It's okay. You don't need to worry about it. And as far as fog lights go, here in Alberta, as long as your fog lights are physically lower than your headlights, they're okay. And the bulb has to be a DOT approved bulb, and it has to be a DOT approved beam. So, yeah, I have fog lights on my truck, and they're 100-watt bulbs, and they're DOT approved. So I've never been having any problems with them. As far as authority and stuff like that goes, police seeing me use them and stuff like that, I've never had a problem using them at nighttime. So what else? Other stuff you should have in your truck. I'd recommend a jerry can, trucker bar, like a snipe for doing down boomers and binders, a pry bar, sockets, hammer, gloves, safety glasses, a generator, angle grinders can be nice, hard hat if you're doing a lot of construction and stuff like that, hard hat, and on some job sites you have to have them. Steel toe boots are another one. What else now? Safety vest, safety fluorescent clothing like I mentioned. Coveralls are always helpful, knee pads are helpful, stuff like that, but I'll go over that when I get out to the truck there. So what else here? Let's see here. Always make sure your defroster works in your truck. Your fluids are always good, like your oil and washer fluid, tranny fluid, all that's always good to keep an eye on. Make sure your glass is okay, like your windows and your mirrors are all good. Let's see here. Make sure your trailer lights all work, your breakaway always works on your trailer, your tires on your trailer are always good, your trailer brakes are always good, your brake controller in your truck is always working and functional, and adjusted properly depending on what you're pulling, just, extra weight, extra braking power. Make sure your suspension is always good, like make sure your truck's not sagging too much, it's just for safety. And for personal wear and tear. I mean, no one wants their truck to get worn out prematurely. Why would you want that? Just keep an eye on stuff like that. So yeah, that's this big list right here. Done. And this one. Okay. When you do this commercially, when you move things for people for a living or for a business, you must abide, well, this is for everyone, but these guys in particular, commercial guys, there's width and height restrictions when driving something down the highway or road. They're different per country and province. And if you look up the DOT, like where you live, like I live in Alberta, Canada, so I could type in Alberta, Canada, DOT, width and height restrictions. It would give me a list of what the height restrictions were, like how many feet high can I go, how many feet wide can I go before I need an oversized load banner for my truck. Once you go over that width or height, you have to have oversized load banner on the front of your truck, on the back of your trailer, and bright orange flags throughout the trailer and throughout your truck. And sometimes you even need to get pilot vehicles to be in front of you and behind you, and have amber flashing strobes or beacon lights on the roof of your truck and on your trailer when driving something like that. You see a lot of the semi-trucks needing to do that. That's why. I've never had an oversized load before, but, it's good to know what the dimensions are, because, if you have something overhanging your vehicle, you want to make sure that you're driving legally, or you could get a ticket for it. Let's see here, what else? When you're driving down the road, it's always good to stop at rest stops and stuff, like, like a parking lot or off the road somewhere on a service road or whatever. Just pull over and put your truck in park and leave your truck running. Just make sure your signals are all still working. Make sure your load didn't shift. Make sure your straps all stay tight. If you need to adjust them, then you can. Just throw another strap across if you want and tighten your chains if they need tightened or whatever. And make sure your tires are all still good and nothing's flying around like it shouldn't be. Just stuff like that to avoid an accident from happening or DOTs getting on your case for it. It's good to do. I mean, I always stop for a coffee or something, or something to eat or something at like McDonald's or Tim Hortons or something. And when I stop there to get my coffee, I just check my stuff that way. I mean, I'm stopping anyway, so I might as well check it. But yeah, it's pretty much everything on this, but I'll actually go in depth of what my truck is equipped with and recommendations when I actually get out to the truck and the trailer. But that's it for my list, so I wanted just to sit down and talk about that because I know there's going to be curious people as to what the rules and regulations are and the actual mandatory things that a guy has to have in his truck or his trailer at all times. Another important thing while I'm on this subject is always have your truck registration and the trailer that you're towing, the trailer's registration, in your glove box or in your truck at all times when towing that trailer. I only have one trailer, so I always keep the trailer's registration in my glove box of my truck with my truck registration. Because if I get pulled over and the cop asks me for my trailer registration, say for example I don't have it, how does he know my trailer isn't stolen? Prime example right there. You could be in trouble for that. Just as simple as that. Just have your trailer registration. If the trailer doesn't belong to you, have the registration of the trailer in your vehicle. And if the trailer doesn't belong to you, have something on paper written and signed by the owner of the trailer saying that they gave you permission to pull it, or a bill of sale or something proving that you're moving it for business. The trailer's not yours, but you're doing it as a service, and it just covers your butt. And that's the important thing. You're doing it legally, and you'll stay out of trouble doing it this way. So that's my 2 cents there. But anyways, that's pretty much it for my rant on this. Hopefully it was helpful, but let's go out to the truck and the trailer, and we'll get into more of it there.